Angel. Dean Angel was fun for me because I wrote Dean Angel. I didn't write the first one, but I wrote after that under my pseudonym, which is Dorothy Garrett. And I wrote that one. It was the first show I ever wrote, so it was kind of cool. And when I got to the part where Mio, Hio, and Toa, they kind of show up at the same time. And David was like, I bet you want to play Mio, Hio. And I was like, no. He's like, why not? I figured that'd be your totally, she's hip, she's cool, she's got a little crown. I'm like, no, I want to play the bird girl. I want to be the bird girl. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, her outfit is so cute. And he's like, okay. So he ended up casting me, and I loved it. I had so much fun. But I had so much fun writing that show, like trying to figure out how Mio Hio was going to speak. It's basically what it is. Happens a lot, as I'm sure you know. A girl goes to America, comes back to Japan, and in the show, she speaks broken English. So we had to figure out how to convey that in English, because we can't have her speaking broken Japanese. Kind of silly. So we just had her with a dialect, so she was just kind of, girly and just kind of like, yeah, she was very, urban, shall we say. Yes, and yell lots of, yo, what's happening? How you doing? And would throw in some Spanish here and then, because that's my second language, so it's easy for me. But yeah, it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I was really concerned that people were going to be like, that sucks. You should have used a totally different language. But it worked. I liked it. Yeah.
When you were in middle school and high school, who was your celebrity crush?
That's gonna date me. That's so gonna date me. My celebrity crushes when I was in middle school. Wow. This is really gonna date me. Corey Feldman. I loved me some Corey Feldman. Before he was on Surreal Life and became a big wussy with a P. He was one, John Taylor from Duran Duran. He was so pretty. And Michael Hutchins from INXS before he got all creepy and hung himself. And, yeah. And stuff. Who else? Oh, Corey Haim, and he's so ugly now. It's so sad. Like you watch Lost Boys, and you're like, wow, Jason Patrick and Corey Haim and Kiefer still looks pretty good. He looks older, but he looks good. But the rest of them, I'm just like, oh, they look horrible now. I'm so sad. There were such hot vampires back in the day. Now they're just old and stuff. Let me get this going.
Off the top of your head, what would be one of your favorite scenes from one of your characters?
Ooh, there's so many. One of my favorites is in Razafon. When Ayato and Haruka are on the bridge in the station having to say goodbye, or thinking they're saying goodbye. Another one would be Dante and Hohenheim meeting up again for the first time. Another one would be, holy crap, let's think. Pretty much anything from Moonphase right now, because I have such a blast working on that show. There's a scene in Negima with Setsuna and Kaneki that's really touching. Shh, don't give it away. That's really sweet. And, gosh, what else? There's so many. It's really hard because that's what I love about anime is that it's not just a cartoon. There's actual emotions happening. There's stuff going on. You get really involved. You know what I mean? Like, you totally get into that moment. And some of it is really heartfelt, and some of it's really cool. There's, Princess Nine. Izumi goes to the hospital, and her, and this girl that she hates, she thinks is gonna die, and she's just like, rah! And that's one of my, like, it gives me goosebumps. Oh, and Generator All. Something horrible happens to my character, and she writes a letter, and that letter, oh my god. And I was so bald. So bald. That was one of my first shows. He's like, honey, you can't record while you're crying. Don't cry. But yeah, there's so many. Those are
Because the Japanese love dubs. It's more money for them.
well, and that's the thing. And also, I don't think a lot of people realize how closely the Japanese are related to the dub. Like a lot of times when we audition for shows, like for Hello Kitty, they didn't cast me. Sanrio cast me. Sanrio was like, we want her to play the kitty. Otherwise, I'm sure somebody else would have gotten it, because, you know, that's just how it works. When you really want to play a role, you never get it. But Sanrio was like, we want you to get it. Okay. So a lot of times what happens is they'll cast it, send it to Japan, the director or whoever over there, you know, the artist, watches it and goes, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. And then they listen to whatever the recorded audition is. No, change that, change this, change that, change this. So there's been a lot of shows that have been recast by the Japanese. Now sometimes it may just be flip these two characters, flip those two characters, whatever. Also, there's a lot of times people don't realize that as much as people import stuff here, they import our stuff over there because it's cheaper. Because over there, you know, for $70 you get 2 episodes and not a whole lot else. So I get a lot of contact from Japanese fans that are like, I wait till it comes out in the States and then I import it into Japan. And also a lot of people that are trying to speak English or that are in school, you know, for English, they'll buy the American version because they can put on the subtitles while it's playing in Japanese and read the English and study up on their English, which is really smart. I never thought about that before. But yes, there's a correlation there. You know, like the Japanese they don't cut ties once they sell the property, usually. They're usually very much involved. Sometimes too much involved.
Fan subs that are like put out on the internet and not haven't been licensed yet.
I don't. I don't know enough about it. I know Greg has like a whole fan-subbing panel. I wouldn't even know where to get it. To be honest, like I don't even know what that is. Bit what? You've been a torrent? That's great. But I mean, like I don't know enough about that. Plus, my whole thing is that if it hasn't been licensed and I'm not working on it, I don't care. You know what I mean? If it's something great, I'll see it later.
You don't like stuff, but in licensing you can get licensed faster.
If you like stuff that is...
You as a voice actor, you like something, you try and get licensed faster.
Well, number one, I don't have any pull at all. They don't care what I have to say. But number two, here's one thing I will tell you that most people find shocking. Everything that you see or hear about on Japanese television, I guarantee you has already been licensed, whether you know about it or not.
Oh.
Because what happens is sometimes before the show even goes on Japanese television, somebody's already put money in it. Here. Because the anime industry over there is suffering. Have you guys heard about how, I've been telling people for years, I'm like, hey guys, watch out on the fan subs and stuff because the Japanese are the ones that are about to come with the iron fist and be like, no, you're stealing from us, stop. They went to YouTube and had YouTube pull all their stuff down for a while. They're getting serious now. Those Japanese guys, you don't mess with them. They may be little, but they're fierce. Remember World War II? They're serious. So I was telling them because like we heard rumblings a couple of years ago from the Japanese saying, you know, they're starting a coalition, they're doing all this stuff, and I was like, hey guys. And then I thought, well maybe they dropped it because I didn't hear anything about it for a couple of years, and now lately they've been like really, really adamant about it. Which, I mean, I can understand. I mean, I totally understand, but that world is so foreign to me that I have no
It's no
clue.
longer a budding fad over here. It's now like full on stuff.
It's a business, well, and it's a business here. And that's the thing is that the Japanese know it's a business here because it is suffering over there. They know, okay, well, if we don't make our money back here, we need to make our money back there. And so they know, like I can't tell you too much because I don't want to give anything away because there's things that happen that you guys don't know about. But it's not rare for a Japanese company to come up to an American company and say, I've got this idea. Do you want to do it or not? Because if you don't put your money in it, we're not going to do it. And then the American company's like, well, I don't know if it's going to sell. Well, if you don't give us money, we're going to shop it around and give it to somebody else. So, you know, that's the thing is that a lot of times American companies are involved before it even comes on Japanese television, which is weird. Well, basically what happened, Michael Coleman was there and Scott was there, and they were claiming my table for Canada. But they kept claiming my table for Canada and saying, you know, you're now Canadian. And I was like, no. And it was right after that South Park movie. I was like, we're Canada, getting everybody to sing. Writing like Uncle on their thing and putting it on their table. And, so basically what happened, it started to escalate. And it ended, basically there was a standoff. Scott was on one side of the room on his table and and I was on the other side of the room. And I see him stand up with this plate of butterballs. Because they get those cute little scalloped butterballs, and they're perfect because when you put them in your hand, they melt just enough that they're throwable, but when they hit people, they go. So he was holding the plate, like, oh, you know. So, you know, I stood up. I've got my plate. Bring it. Well, of course, at that point, you have to throw it. Because if you don't, you're going to look like the biggest wuss ever. You have to. You declared war. So we walk, you know, scowling at each other, walk to the middle of this room, and everybody's like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I did it. So we started throwing butter. Poor Fred Gallagher from Megatokyo.
Oh.
He's very artisty and kind of mellow and sad. And his fans kind of are like him, and they were kind of in the middle of fire. All these poor Megatokyo fans are like crying. I got butter. And we're like throwing butter, and so other people start getting involved. Mike McFarland was there, and he took a tray from a waiter and used it as a protector for me so I didn't get any butter. He was like shielding me with this tray. I kicked his ass so hard. He had to fly home to Canada that night, and he had butter stains in his crotch. I mean, like, we totally owned him. I mean, the Canadians were beat down. But afterwards, everybody in the whole room was just like, people were videotaping with butter on their cameras in it. Well, afterwards, you know, the con chair was like, you know, this was very dangerous, and it was carpet, but they were like, somebody could have slipped on the butter, and it would have been our fault, and we would have been sued, blah, 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 giving me and Scott, like, you know, bad children, you know. And we were like, oh my God, we're so never getting invited back to ACON. This is it. We totally ruined it. The next year, we'd really love you and Scott to come back to ACON. I was like, oh, I see, so the butterball fight was a hit. They've invited me back every year since, and I haven't been able to go for whatever reason, but I always think, I'm like, now I have to. You know, now it's expected. If I go back, I'm going to have to start a fight. The next time it'll be like salsa or something. I remember, I left that room, and Chris Patton, okay, if you ever wondered if Chris Patton was a little girly, he was trying to help me out. And he threw a butterball and was trying to get it past my head, and it hit me at close range. So I had this butter all over the place. I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I was like, you're such a girl. You threw like a girl. But it was fun. There was tater tots everywhere. The waiters were not having it. They were like, because they knew they were going to have to clean it up. Oh, and snowballs. Y'all have balls. I'm sorry. You know, I think I pissed off some voice actors at Otakon the year before last.
Oh, yeah.
Because Matt from AUSA brought the snowballs, and I was like, look, everybody, this is what we're going to do. And some of them were not having it.
No.
Some of those LA people. But they were like, what is she doing?
11 voice actors all throwing this thing. It was insane.
Like a frisbee.
Yeah, they're awesome. Okay, here's the trick for those of you that don't know. You know those snowballs, those covered marshmallowy coconut? I'm sure they're going to be at one of the uncensored guest panels. I'm sure they're going to show up somewhere. Basically, it was Halloween, the first one. And this one, yeah. And this dude, I hope he's not in here, this dude was eating these things. And then he was like, I have another one if anybody wants it. And I was like, I'll take it. I've never eaten one of those things ever. So I take his snowball that was all orange and black for Halloween. And I was like, okay. And I scooped the inside out of it. And I was like, the marshmallow held its shape. Like it didn't move. Like you could set it down on the table and it would still have that kind of rounded weirdness to it. I also realized you could turn it inside out and it flew like a frisbee. And when you picked it up, it always went back to that weird little convention. Well, this guy got pissed off. He's like, I was going to eat that. I was like, well, then why did you offer it to me? I thought you were going to eat it.
Oh.
No, I'm playing with it. Whatever. So, I mean, I had so much fun playing with that thing. I drew a face on it and called it Foofy and wore it as a hat and was throwing it. So then Matt, like for the past couple of conventions I've been to, he always brings a box of snowballs. So at that Otakon, I had to teach the other voice actors how to do it. I don't think some of them enjoyed it very much. They were like,
Like the last four down there, we're like, what isn't it?
yeah. Yeah. You could tell who was on my level of immaturity. Some of them were very mature
Scott
voice
Elementary
actors.
and Cox were really getting into it, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they
They were
loved it.
throwing it at each other. They were picking up the actions and throwing it at each other.
You know who would love it? Crispin. He hasn't seen it yet. I'm gonna make Critter wear it as a hat.